What's up guys, Jose here from Yucatech, and we're already halfway through 2024 and there have been a lot of smartphones released already. So in today's video, we are looking back at some of the best smartphones you can get for just under 10,000 pesos. Take note that the smartphones we will be covering in this video are those officially released in the Philippines from January to June of this year. Also, the pricing details we listed here are updated according to their official listings online. So, without further ado, let's dive right in. Alright, let's start off this list with a bang, and it's the POCO M6 Pro, which is now down to just 8,999 pesos. It boasts a 6.67-inch Full HD Plus AMOLED display with a 120Hz refresh rate and can reach up to 1300 nits of peak brightness. It's even protected by a scratch-resistant Gorilla Glass 5 alongside an IP54 dust and splash resistance. Powering the POCO M6 Pro is the MediaTek Helio G99 Ultra that comes with at least 8GB of RAM and 256GB of storage, which is also expandable via micro SD. It's got a triple camera setup at the rear led by a 64MP main sensor with support for optical image stabilization. The other two lenses are an 8MP ultra-wide and a 2MP sensor for macro shots. Battery-wise, the phone packs the usual 5000 mAh battery paired with 67W fast charging. Again, the POCO M6 Pro is down to just 8,999 pesos for the 8GB plus 256GB combo, and you can even get the 12GB plus 512GB variant for just 10,999 pesos. Moving on, we have the base model POCO M6, or you can call it the vanilla version if you want, with a much more affordable price tag, starting at only 6,999 pesos. For the price, you get decent entry-level specs. It does pack a larger 6.79-inch Full HD Plus screen, but it's only an IPS LCD panel. It also runs at a 90Hz refresh rate and it's not as bright, reaching only 550 nits. Under the hood is a MediaTek Helio G91 Ultra chipset configured with up to 8GB of RAM and 256GB of storage, which is expandable. At the rear, you get two cameras, a 108MP main shooter paired with a 2MP macro lens. Battery is rated at 5030 mAh with support for 33W fast charging. The POCO M6 starts at 6,999 pesos for the base model 6GB plus 128GB and 7,999 pesos for the 8GB plus 256GB variant. Next up on our list screams of a budget gaming phone, the TECNO POVA 6 with its mecha-inspired back panel design. It's also equipped with the MediaTek Helio G99, but it's the ultimate version. Turns out it's just the same chipset as the regular G99 and the G99 Ultra, since they're all built on a 6nm processor having up to 2.2 GHz clock speeds. Now, don't be fooled by the design of the phone. It may look like it has 3 rear cameras, but only one is an actual camera carrying a 108MP sensor. The other rings only include a so-called light sensor and of course the dual-tone LED flash. Other highlights of the POVA 6 include a 120Hz 6.78-inch Full HD Plus IPS LCD panel and a larger than usual 6,000 mAh battery pack with 70W fast charging. It also gets an IP53 rating for dust and splash resistance. The TECNO POVA 6 sets you back 9,999 pesos for the sole 8GB plus 256GB variant, making it one of the more expensive models on this list. Now, if the TECNO POVA 6 is a bit too expensive for you already, well, moving on, there's also the TECNO POVA 6 Neo, which is basically the same device but with a more toned down or watered down version of the camera system. This model opts for a 50MP main shooter instead of the 108MP sensor that the POVA 6 has. The selfie camera is also reduced to just 8MP down from 32MP. The most interesting bit is probably the TECNO POVA 6 Neo's battery, which is rated at a whopping 7,000 mAh capacity. However, it's paired with a slower charging at just 33 watts. You do get two configurations available, 8GB plus 128GB for 7,299 pesos and a 256GB option for 8,299 pesos. Next up, we have yet another TECNO device, but this time it's from a different lineup, the standard TECNO Camon 30. Like its POVA siblings, the TECNO Camon 30 packs a MediaTek Helio G99 Ultimate chipset. Its display is a lot better though, sporting a 6.78-inch Full HD Plus AMOLED panel with a proper 120Hz refresh rate. Its camera system gets a slight boost as well with a dual rear setup, a 50 megapixel main and a 2 megapixel depth sensor. The front camera also gets higher quality 50 megapixel shooter with eye tracking autofocus feature. Battery wise, it packs the usual 5000 mAh capacity with 70 watt fast charging. The TECNO Camon 30 is currently priced at 8,899 pesos for the sole 8GB plus 256GB variant. And moving on, we have another entry into this list, which is the Honor X7B. It might not be as tough as its sibling, the X9B, but it still gets some decent features, and more importantly, it's a lot more affordable. The X7B sports a 6.8-inch Full HD Plus IPS LCD panel with 90Hz refresh rate. This display will also do fine outdoors with peak brightness reaching up to 850 nits. The chipset on this phone is a bit dated though, running the Snapdragon 680 configured with 8GB of RAM and 256GB of storage, which is expandable. At the rear, you will find two large camera rings that house the triple cameras, a 108 megapixel main shooter, 5 megapixel ultra wide, and a 2 megapixel depth sensor. Battery is rated at 6000 mAh capacity paired with 35 watt charging. The Honor X7B sets you back 8,590 pesos for the 8GB plus 256GB configuration. The Champ series makes it onto the list with the realme C67, starting at only 7,999 pesos. It packs the overclocked Snapdragon 685 with a slightly faster clock speed at 2.8 GHz as compared to the regular 680's 2.4 GHz. This phone also sports a 6.72-inch Full HD Plus IPS LCD panel with 90Hz refresh rate and is able to reach 950 nits of peak brightness. For configuration, it features 8GB of RAM and up to 256GB of storage, which is also expandable by up to 2 TB via a micro SD slot. Its 108 megapixel main camera is a bit better than most of the phones on this list, since it carries the Samsung ISOCELL HM6 camera that sports up to 3 times in-sensor zoom for improved image quality. As for the battery, it packs a standard 5000 mAh unit with 33 watt charging rate. It also gets IP54 rating for protection against dust and some water splashes. The Realme C67 comes in two configurations, a 128GB trim priced at 7,999 pesos and a 256GB option that goes for 9,499 pesos. Up next is a phone from Cherry, who made a solid comeback recently with the new AQUA series. Specifically, the Cherry AQUA S11 Pro made it onto this list with a price tag of just 7,999 pesos. At its price point, it comes equipped with features on par with popular brands. It comes with a 6.78-inch Full HD Plus AMOLED display running at 120Hz refresh rate. Under the hood is a MediaTek Helio G99, configured with the usual 8GB of RAM and 256GB of expandable storage. It also packs a triple rear camera setup led by a 64 megapixel main shooter. Its battery is fairly standard as well, with 5,000 mAh and support for 33 watt charging. Coming from a brand that had a slight hiatus in the smartphone scene, at least in the Philippines, the new AQUA series are models you should actually consider. Again, the AQUA S11 Pro is priced at 7,999 for the sole 8GB plus 256GB variant. Another Helio G99 powered phone is the vanilla Infinix NOTE 40. Perhaps its main selling point is the capacity to charge wirelessly, a feature that you usually see just on flagship devices or at least high-end mid-range devices. Alongside the 45-watt wired charging, the Note 40 supports 20-watt wireless charging, which is amazing for a phone under 10,000 pesos. Other highlights of the Infinix NOTE 40 include a 120Hz 6.78-inch Full HD Plus AMOLED display with peak brightness of 1,300 nits. You also get a triple rear camera setup highlighted by a 108 megapixel main shooter, an IP54 rating, and 5,000 mAh battery. The Infinix NOTE 40 sets you back only 9,700 pesos for the 8GB plus 256GB variant. And remember, it's the only one on this list with wireless charging. Alright, last but not least is yet another Note model, but this one's coming from Redmi, the Redmi Note 13. Coming in at only 6,999 pesos, this is arguably the most feature-packed among the bunch for its price point. It gets a 6.67-inch Full HD Plus AMOLED display with 120Hz refresh rate and a peak brightness of 1,800 nits. That's considerably a better display than that of the vanilla POCO M6 we discussed earlier. The Redmi Note 13 even gets Gorilla Glass 3 protection as well as IP54 rating. Powering this device is the Snapdragon 685 combined with 8GB of RAM and 256GB of expandable storage. Its cameras aren't bad either, with a 108MP main camera, an 8MP ultrawide, and a 2MP macro lens. As for the battery, it packs the usual 5000mAh unit with 33W charging rate. The Xiaomi Redmi Note 13 starts at 6,999 pesos for the 6GB plus 128GB variant. It also comes with an 8GB plus 256GB variant for 9,599 pesos only. And that wraps up this list, and it was a long one with 10 phones to consider. So, are you in the market right now to get a phone under 10,000 pesos? Which one would you go for among the 10 in this list? Of course, share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video or found it informative, do drop a like and subscribe to our channel to watch more. Also, don't forget to follow us on our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok. And of course, visit yugatech.com to stay updated with the latest tech news and reviews. Once again, this has been Ase, and I'll catch you guys next time. Stay safe.